Hey everyone, so obviously over lockdown we've all been missing our brows. They've been fading out, and what we've decided to do at FaceTime is to create your very own at-home brow tinting kit. So this is going to be customized for you. So if you are a regular client here, the brow tint is mixed up as to what we would normally do as your recipe in clinic. If you're new to us, there's a few ways that we can go about tailoring it to you based on your hair color and your eyebrows. Welcome to the tutorial of how to use FaceTime's very own brow kit made just for you. So we have our kit here, which is what you'll receive. Inside you have everything you need in order to create the perfect brow tint at home. Okay, so within your kit, you're going to have cotton pads. You're going to have some cotton buds. You're going to have a brow brush spoolie, a tint applicator wand, a little tiny spatula stick, your tint remover just in case you need it, your tint, and your tint oxidant. So these are the two that you're going to mix together and blend in order to activate and create your tint. You're also going to have a tissue, an eye serum, or an eye cream depending on your kit, and then also a cleanser or wash to prep your eyebrows with. So your first step is you're going to open up your cleanser, put out a little bit of that. So all of them that you'll have will be a gel cleanser. You're wanting to add a little bit of water and really get it nice and foamy like that. Then you're going to go through and give them like a really good shampoo. So really foam up the product. And this is going to help to remove any oil, dirt, or residue on the brows so that we're going to get the very best finish. Then just use a dampened cotton pad to remove and clean off any extra product, and obviously remove any kind of dirt buildup that's there. Use the tissue that's in your pack to pat them dry. Don't be afraid to be a little bit firm. You want to make sure that there's no moisture in there before you start your tint. Next up, you're going to get your tint and your oxidant. So solution 1 and solution 2. What you're going to do is add a little bit of oxidant into the tint pot. So this is what you're going to actually mix up your tint with. We have given you quite a bit of oxidant. You only need a little amount. So it's usually, the rough estimate is that you're going to be doing about 3 parts of your tint or your color, and then 1 part of your oxidant. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix them up. So just showing you in the pot there, you probably need about that much of your oxidant. Pop it into your tint, and then what you're going to do is use your gold applicator tool to blend and mix everything together. What you're wanting to do is get the color fully blended in with the oxidant so that it's all kind of nice and consistent in terms of the finish of it. So it should be like nice and creamy. Just be aware not to get any of it on your fingers, because what it can do is it will stain your skin. If you've got nail polish on, it will also create a stain in the nail polish, which can only really be removed through buffing it out. So just make sure you're not going to get any of it on your hands. So that's the consistency that you're looking for. Nice and creamy, and it's all kind of one blended color. Then what you're going to do is we're going to step through into the application phase. So you're wanting to apply it onto the brows in the area that you're wanting to tint basically. Anything outside of there, the tint, if left on for long enough, can actually stain the skin, which, don't worry, it will come off, but you may have a day or two where the line isn't really nice and crisp, which is not what we want. So in an ideal world, you're wanting to apply it where you want it and need it, and then I'll show you at the end, once we've applied, how to clean up just to make sure you get those edges and lines nice and crisp. So start by applying to the brow with the applicator wand. You're wanting a nice full coverage. And as you'll see, I kind of have gone outside the lines because it is hard to avoid. Then you're going to do the same with the other brow. So don't worry if it looks a little bit messy, we're going to tidy that up. What you don't want to do is leave that on there for too long. Then what you're going to do to clean up those lines, because as you can see I've done a messy application, which is totally fine, use one of your cotton tips, and on the clean edge you're just wanting to go in and kind of wipe away anywhere that you don't want the tint using a little bit of pressure. Don't go in and use the dirty side, because what you'll do is you'll just end up smearing it. So flip it round, use the clean side, and then go in and clean up the underneath part. If you've accidentally removed tint where there's hair that you want to color, you can go back in with your applicator tool and just apply that ever so gently in that same area with a nice clean cotton tip. So a bit of pressure underneath. Turn it around so I've got the clean side. If you're worried, just grab a whole new one if you don't want to get it onto the, if you don't want to get anything on your nails or your hands and you just want to be cautious, you can do that. And you can see I've still kind of got a little bit in the middle there where I don't want it. So I'm just going to grab another cotton tip. There's heaps of these in your kit, so you shouldn't ever be short. Cool, so I'm really happy with that shape. Then now it's the processing time. So depending on your eyebrows and what you're kind of wanting to achieve, if you're nervous, what you're wanting to do is what we call like a brow wash or a color wash. So you're only wanting to really leave it on the skin for about a minute. So basically the minute you apply it, you're wanting to remove it straight away. This is a really good way to kind of gauge how your hair takes the color. Some hairs are really quick at absorbing color, others can take a lot longer. General rule is the finer the hair, the quicker it's going to take. So those who have really light, fine blonde hairs, they're the ones that are going to want to do a color wash. So 1 minute if you're wanting like a wash, or basically an on and off application. If you're wanting like a medium color, you're wanting to leave it on for about 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 minutes. If you're wanting a dark color, 3 to 4 minutes. And for that really deep, bold power brow, you're wanting to leave it on for about 5 minutes. For all of our regular tinters, just one thing to mention is obviously none of you have had brow tints for the last, like 7 or 8 weeks, 8 weeks. So your hairs are gonna be completely bare, which means that this tint is not gonna last as long as what you would normally expect in clinic. So normally if you're getting your brows done regularly, you might expect your tint to last anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks because we get a bit of a color buildup on the hair. With this, you're starting fresh, so expect your brow tint to maybe only last you about 2 weeks, and then you're probably going to want to top it up again, and then from there you could space out your at-home tinting or your clinic tinting, if we're open with a bit of luck, to about 4 to 5 weeks apart. Okay, so now we're at the removal step. For me personally, anyone that knows me, I love a bold brow, so it's been 5 minutes that I've left it on. And so what you're going to do is get some damp cotton pads, so you can prepare these while you're doing your wait time, or if you want, you can prepare them earlier to make sure that they're ready, especially if you're doing a wash. And then what you're going to do is apply pressure to the inside of the brow, and you're going to sweep the cotton pad using pressure out towards the edge of the brow. So it looks like this. Bin this one, because if you go in again for obvious reasons, it's going to smear the tint onto the skin, and then of course you're going to end up with tint on the skin. So that there is a nice clean finish. Then you're wanting to go in with more cotton pads and do the same on the other side. You'll notice that I am removing in exactly the same sequence as I applied. So I've applied starting on this side, then applied that side, and then I'm removing from this side and removing from that side. Otherwise, if you do it the opposite way around, this is technically processing for longer than this one. So to finish, you're going to grab your like a dry cotton bud, kind of brush through the brows backwards. This will pick up any kind of tint residue left behind that's not meant to be there. You can see I've done a pretty good job at removing. There's like the slightest amount of color. You're going to do the same on this side, so brushing backwards through the brows with a little bit of pressure, trying to pick up any kind of residue left behind. Now we're going to go through and teach you how to remove it. So if for some reason you have gone too dark, we've included this little SOS kit which comes with your tint remover and cotton tips to make sure that you can take the color down. Also, if you end up getting tint on the skin and it's continued to process, so just to let you know, your tint when mixed with the oxidant, once you've done that, that's going to actually be active for 8 to 10 minutes. So if you happen to leave any tint on the skin or on the hairs, it will actually continue to process after that point. So then you're going to grab your SOS tint remover, open it up. Now it is really liquidy, so just be careful. Get your cotton tip and kind of douse it in the solution and go through and just kind of rub it and that's going to help to lift off any kind of excess color. Sometimes if the stain's really bad, it's not going to get rid of it completely. That's when you employ the help of concealer to help hide it, but otherwise this usually does the trick. Yeah, that's got rid of it nicely. Same goes for if you go too dark, instead of obviously doing it on the skin like what I've done, you're going to do the same process and really kind of rub and shampoo that product right through the brows and then dry them off. Day one is going to look a lot darker than perhaps the actual outcome. So usually by the time you've washed your face tonight, you wake up in the morning, wash your face again, any residue that's left behind will be taken down, and that's generally the true finish or the true color that you're going to get. Like I said, you're probably going to get about 2 weeks out of it, considering most of us have very bare brows, and then you'd want to top up after about 2 weeks. For those who fade really quickly, you may even want to do it again in 1 week, and then usually about 3 to 4 weekly from there onwards. So after you've used the dry cotton tip, you're then going to go in with your eye product. So just open the little sachet that you've got. You only need a tiny amount, and to be fair, what is in your sachet will probably last you a few days going forward, but you just need a tiny amount, so kind of relative to the size of a grain of rice. So tiny amount, then you're going to get your fingers. I usually use these two, and then you're just going to sweep over the brow. And then I normally like to just press it in underneath the eyes as well. Always working from the inside out just to help with lymphatic drainage. That will just help to nourish the skin and lock in the color. And then you're going to go through with your little spoolie and brush the brows so they kind of finish up in nice perfect alignment, which is your finishing touch. Of course, we can't be there to shape your eyebrows. If you don't have a really good pair of tweezers, everybody needs them. This is the Revitalash tweezers, and I swear by these. I love a good pair of slanted tweezers. They grip the hair easily. They pull them out nicely and cleanly. There's no like pinching of the skin or slipping off of the hair. These are amazing. I wasn't even going to stock them in the clinic, and then I got sent a pair and was hooked. So there you go. You can buy those through our website, and our tinting kits are also available through our website. If you forget anything that's in this video, you will get a little instruction leaflet inside your pack for you to refer to as you're doing the process. Thanks for watching.